Ever wonder who makes sure those massive structures we see every day actually will get built, like without collapsing?
Yeah, it's not magic.
Definitely not. It's thanks to the behind-the-scenes masterminds called installation engineers.
Hmm.
And they do way more than just, installing stuff.
Right. It's not like assembling furniture from, those instructions with just picture.
Exactly. They're the ones who make sure complex projects actually work. Bridges, skyscrapers, even high-tech factories.
And luckily for us, RoleCatcher, they're the career pros, right? They have this awesome guide all about installation
Oh
engineers.
yeah, I checked it out. It's packed with info. Definitely insightful.
What I found really interesting is how RoleCatcher digs deeper than the usual job description.
Yeah, it's easy to imagine installation engineers just like on a construction site, hard hat on, directing traffic.
Totally. But there's a whole lot more to it. They actually spend a good chunk of their day planning, designing, using some pretty high-tech software.
Really? So it's not all wrenches and blueprints then?
Nope. Think CAD software, intricate system designs, and even something called BIM.
BIM.
Yeah, building information modeling. It's like creating a virtual model of the whole project before even starting the actual construction.
Oh, wow, that's super cool. Is that what they mean by building the future?
In a way, yeah, they can actually step inside a 3D model of, say, a skyscraper before a single brick is laid.
That's wild. Like having X-ray vision for buildings. But what's the advantage of having this virtual model?
Efficiency and safety, mostly. BIM helps to spot any potential issues like clashes between different systems or structural weaknesses before they even happen in the real world.
So it's kind of like a practice run, but in a virtual world.
Exactly. Saves a ton of time, money, and headaches down the line. And safety is paramount in this field.
Makes sense. And I'm guessing these installation engineers need to be pretty good at explaining all this complex stuff too, right?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher really emphasizes communication and teamwork. Installation engineers act like a bridge between, say, the design team and the construction crews.
So they need to speak both languages, the
Yeah.
technical and the, let's call it practical.
Exactly. It's all about clear explanations, managing expectations, making sure everyone's on the same page. A lot of responsibility there.
For sure. So we're talking about a job with serious impact. But what's the work environment really like, day to day? What does RoleCatcher say?
Well, be ready to swap that comfy office chair for some steel-toed boots.
Uh-huh. No more working in your pajamas then.
Not quite. You'll split time between the office and the actual project site, which could be anywhere, really.
From a busy city center to like a remote desert location for a solar farm, I imagine.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher doesn't sugarcoat the challenging parts either.
Oh, there are always challenges.
Long hours, working outdoors in all kinds of weather, meeting crazy deadlines on these mega projects. It's demanding.
Definitely not for the faint of heart. But then again, there must be an incredible sense of accomplishment too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Seeing a project come together, knowing you played a key role, that's got to be rewarding.
I can see
Yeah.
that. But all those tough conditions, long hours, RoleCatcher really stresses the importance of safety in this job, right?
Big time. They go into detail about safety protocols, the gear, and even specific certifications like OSHA.
OSHA.
Yeah, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Make sure engineers know their stuff when it comes to on-site safety.
Sounds like they really have to be prepared for anything. But with all this talk about tough conditions and long hours, is the career path itself rewarding?
That's where RoleCatcher's pros and cons section is super helpful.
Lay it on us. What makes all those challenges worth it?
Well, for one, the job security is fantastic. No matter how much tech advances, they'll always need skilled installation engineers.
That's reassuring, especially these days. Someone has to make sure all those fancy new technologies are installed right.
Exactly. And the earning potential is definitely up there. Even early career, the salaries are good and they just keep growing as you gain experience.
Music to my ears. So job security, great pay. What else makes this career path rewarding?
RoleCatcher talks about the satisfaction of, making these complex projects a reality. Seeing a skyscraper you helped build, that's got to feel amazing. And of course, you're working with cutting-edge tech, constantly facing new challenges. It keeps things interesting.
It's challenging, but you're constantly learning and growing. But let's get practical for a sec. If someone is listening to this and thinking, this is it, I want to be an installation engineer, where do they even begin?
RoleCatcher has a whole section on that, and surprise, surprise, it starts with a solid education.
So you're saying it's back to school for aspiring installation engineers. But what kind of degree are we talking about here?
Well, it usually starts with a good engineering degree. RoleCatcher mentions civil, mechanical, and electrical engineering as solid options.
Right, because you're dealing with everything from like the physical structure to the electrical systems, depending on the project, right?
Yeah, they need a broad understanding of engineering principles to make sure everything works together seamlessly. But it's not all about textbooks and theories, of course.
Because at some point, you have to get your hands dirty, right?
Exactly. RoleCatcher is a big advocate for practical experience. They actually emphasize the importance of internships and entry-level positions.
Makes sense, because it's one thing to ace a test on, say, load-bearing walls, but actually being on a construction site and seeing it all come together, that's a whole different ballgame.
Totally. That's where you really learn to apply those theoretical concepts in the real world.
And probably make some mistakes along the way, hopefully not too costly.
Yeah, ideally small ones. But hey, that's how you learn. And, having experienced mentors to guide you during those early stages is crucial.
Makes sense. It's like an apprenticeship for the world of megastructure.
Exactly. You get to learn from the best, build your network, and get a feel for the industry.
And probably rock that hard hat with pride.
For sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of standing out, RoleCatcher highlights the importance of industry certifications.
Oh, yeah, those can be a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Which ones are we talking about here?
They specifically mention the PMP certification.
That's project management professional, right? I've heard of that one.
Yep. It shows potential employers that you can handle complex projects effectively. They also mention the CCM, Certified Construction Manager.
So it's like having extra badges of expertise that make your resume stand out.
Exactly. Plus, let's not forget about OSHA, which we talked about earlier. Safety certifications are crucial in this line of work.
Absolutely. It sounds like a combo of education, experience, and those certifications can really give someone a head start in this field. But let's say you've checked all the boxes, you've got the qualifications. What does the career path itself look like? Is it just like, congratulations, you're an installation engineer, and that's it?
Not quite. RoleCatcher outlines a pretty clear progression. It usually starts with entry-level roles, and then you climb the ladder as you gain experience. They break it down into three main stages: junior, mid-level, and senior installation engineer.
Okay, so it's not just about the title, but the responsibilities and leadership skills that come with each stage. So let's break it down. What can someone expect as a junior installation engineer, fresh out of uni, for instance?
Well, at the junior level, you're usually working closely with those more senior engineers, getting a taste of all the different aspects of the installation process.
So it's a lot of learning on the job, assisting with tasks, maybe doing some troubleshooting, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Think of it as your apprenticeship in the world of large-scale installations. You're building a strong foundation and proving yourself.
And then as you gain experience and confidence, you move up to a mid-level installation engineer. So what changes at that point? More responsibility, I'm guessing. So you're not the rookie anymore. What does a typical day look like for a mid-level installation engineer?
Well, now you're managing smaller projects on your own, taking on more responsibility within those bigger teams. You might be developing installation plans, coordinating with contractors, even overseeing the budget for your part of the project.
Wow, that's a big jump. You're not just following instructions anymore. You're actually like making decisions that impact the whole project.
Exactly. You've got to be on top of your game. But it's also super rewarding to see your ideas come to life.
I bet. But what about those who, they're in it for the long haul, always reaching for that next level? What does the top of the career ladder look like?
That's where you become a senior installation engineer. That title carries some weight.
I can imagine. So we're talking years of experience, probably seen it all, done it all at that point.
Yeah.
What are some of the key things a senior installation engineer does?
Big picture stuff, leading those really complex installations, overseeing multiple teams, coordinating with everyone, architects, project managers, you name it.
So it's not just about the technical know-how anymore. It's about leadership, strategy, and I mentioned a bit of diplomacy too, right?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to be able to wrangle all those different personalities, make sure everyone's working towards the same goal. Plus, senior installation engineers are usually involved in those early feasibility studies for new projects.
So they're using their expertise to assess risks, figure out the costs, that sort of thing.
Exactly. They're the ones who can look at a project, even before it's on paper, and say, okay, here's how we can make this work, or this is going to be a challenge.
It's like they have this sixth sense for potential problems and innovative solutions. That's amazing. It's really cool to see how much room for growth there is in this field.
And one thing RoleCatcher emphasizes is mentorship. Senior installation engineers, they have a responsibility to guide those just starting out, pass on that knowledge.
That's so important. It's how you keep those high standards, that commitment to safety and innovation alive. It's been fascinating to really dive into the world of installation engineers. They're like the unsung heroes of these amazing structures we see every day.
Totally. And as we move towards a future with sustainable buildings, smart cities, their role is only going to become more important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the one to install cutting-edge green tech or those complex systems that make a building smart? Talk about a career with real-world impact.
It's pretty incredible, and that's something RoleCatcher highlights throughout the guide, that sense of accomplishment, knowing your work is making a difference.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired right now. This deep dive into the world of installation engineers has been amazing.
Agreed. It really opens your eyes to all the work that goes on behind the scenes to literally build the world around us.
So, to everyone listening, if you're looking for a career that's challenging, rewarding, and lets you use both your brain and your hands, maybe it's time to consider a future as an installation engineer. And if you want to learn more, RoleCatcher's Guide is definitely worth checking out. It's full of insights and real-life stories that we didn't have time to get to today.
It's a great resource.
On that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.